What's up, everyone? Happy Friday, October 8th. Let's get into the watch list today. I'm taking a look at Tesla, Facebook, Snow, AFRM, and XENE. And now I want to highlight the mental notes. So SPY and the Qs have had a pretty big two-day move, had the huge gap up yesterday. It's at resistance, so I feel like with that big two-day move up into resistance, it could be a bit of a trouble area. So just today, I'm not a fan of much. The daily charts aren't very clean, and it's a Friday, so I want to make sure not to push it. It could take a little bit for market direction. And then the thing that I always preach is it really only takes just one good trade. All right, so let's get into all the technicals, starting with SPY. So I had a nice move out of the consolidation yesterday, back above the 9 EMA, but definitely in some resistance. It now has the open downside gap at 45.12, so maybe it could fill it. Does it have to fill it today? I have no idea, but just knowing that there is an open downside gap. The levels that I'm going to be looking at to the upside, 440, and to the downside, 438. And now the Qs, so similar to the SPY, had a nice move out of the consolidation above the 9 EMA, but moving into resistance. It has an open downside gap at 359.95. Could that fill it today? Maybe. Don't want to have too much of a bias, but just knowing that there is that open downside gap. The levels that I'm looking at to the upside, 365.50, to the downside, 362. And now Tesla, so had a really big late day move yesterday. I completely missed all of it. I was away from the computer. I'm usually only focusing on the first hour and a half into the day. So when that move happened, I was already gone. But still a very strong daily chart above the 9 EMA. The levels that I'm going to be watching to the upside, pre-market high, 798. And to the downside, pre-market low, 787. And now Facebook, so not a great candle yesterday. Bear flag on the daily chart. Doesn't look great. Don't want to have too much of a bias, but if the market is weak, I feel like this could get hit just because it's showing a little bit of relative weakness, especially from that candle yesterday. So the levels that I'm going to be looking at to the upside, pre-market high, 333. If it holds that and continues to go up, I don't want to fight that short-term trend. And then to the downside, 328.50. And now Snow, so it's a little extended on the daily chart, but showing clear strength. It's above the 9 EMA, the 20 SMA. Check out this 323 area, big area of resistance. If it can break, I think it has a chance to catch momentum. So the levels I'm going to be looking at to the upside, that 323, and the downside, pre-market low, 320. And now AFRM, so a very strong daily chart above the 9 EMA, above the 20 SMA, caught momentum a couple days ago. Also has all-time high above at 146.90. Trading slightly weak this morning. Maybe it can do a red to green move. The levels that I'm looking at to the upside, 134, and to the downside, 131. And last on the list, a stock that I don't normally watch, but this XENE. The reason why I like it, the daily looks really good. That's a nice flag pattern. Big breakout of a lot of consolidation a handful of days ago. Now it's consolidating, getting nice and tight. So if this makes a new all-time high, I think it has a chance to catch momentum. So that's the main level I'm going to be looking at to the upside, that 33.70, and then to the downside, 31. So we're about 2 minutes away from the open. I know, like I mentioned at the bottom of the newsletter watch list in the mental notes, there's nothing that I really like today. The daily charts are just not very clean. You got SPY and Qs that had a really big move up the last 2 days. So can they go higher? Of course. But in this market, a lot of times these moves have been getting sold. So it's coming into resistance. It just makes me feel a little hesitant about wanting to chase anything long. And the daily charts, like I mentioned, are not very clean. I have these 5 names that I'm looking at, but I don't really like anything. So I already know that because of that, there's no need to push it. And it being a Friday, I don't want to end the week on a bad note. So I'm just going to take it easy, be patient, wait for a good setup. And if there's something that looks really good, obviously I want to take the trade and I'm going to do it with smaller size. I do like this pullback on Tesla. If it can just have a little bit of consolidation, take out the 798, I think that would be an okay trade. Check out the Snow. So that 323 was a big level, but look at the volume, very low volume, no clean pattern. Sometimes these levels get taken out without there being a clean pattern. And I really don't like to just go long or short at the level if it's not very clean and it's quick off the open. So this is an example of that level getting taken out very quick. And because there was no clean pattern as it took it out, I just didn't want to take the trade. I like the combination of levels and patterns together. And when that happens, that's where I have my best trades. So I'm watching this Facebook. Nice move lower off the open, hanging around that prior day close. If this can break 329, this candle can close green, form a quick flag pattern, takes out 329, and the market's weak because right now SPY's showing a little bit of weakness. If it continues to be weak, I think that could be a good setup. So it's just hanging right at that 329. I would really like to see this candle close green, so that's nice. Now when it takes out 329, I think this could have more follow through. Also watching Tesla, so I had a big move to the downside. If this can hang out, kind of go sideways for a bit, the market continues to show more weakness, maybe this forms a flag and then has more room to the downside. Looking at Tesla and Facebook, but also check out the market. Sold off a little bit, big bounce. A lot of buying coming in right now, similar to Qs. So I'm just trying to wait, be patient, wait for a good setup, and then that's when I want to give something a chance. I do like this flag on Tesla. Okay, I'm going to go for Tesla. Oh, I didn't get filled. Oh. All right, so just waiting for a pop up. I'm in one contract. So that just skipped me. I think maybe I'll get filled on this pop up right here. All right, well, I'm in the trade, one contract. So I went for the flag low. I'm just going to accept that I only got one, and then I'll pretend like I'm in this full size, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of follow through. But just taking it on the flag break, that's 786 low a day. Just want to see if this can get a little bit of follow through. So only in the trade with one contract, didn't get filled. Unfortunately, that can be the downside with limit orders at times. So I just got skipped on that. Okay, so just want to see if this, there we go. Okay. Getting a little movement to the downside. Nice. Coming into the whole number, 785. What happens there? All right. A little bit of size. Okay. Broke through it. Just want to see if this can get away from 785. Like to see it break down through 785 and SPY starting to get weak. Okay, so I'm just going to get out of that. I'll take the quick move. I'm trying not to trade differently, even though I didn't get filled on my full size. And I know that if I was in bigger, I would have just taken that at that moment. So I will take 50 cents on one contract, being that I didn't get my full size, decent move. And on 3 contracts, that would have been 150 bucks, which would have been a nice trade. Unfortunately, I did not get filled on the full size, which happens every now and then with limit orders. I feel like I probably should have maybe marketed in that just because it was a smaller position size. But every now and then with those limits, they can get skipped. So that's just the downside of it. But overall, holding it for 3 minutes, taking the quick move, you know, I'll just take it. Pretty funny because it took me a second to realize that I didn't even get filled. I know I clicked the button. I thought I was in it. I looked to the right. I saw that it didn't even fill. Waited for the bounce back up. Got the one. Had to cancel the rest so that way I didn't get put into it. Because when you get thrown off like that, like when I'm trying to get into a trade and I don't get filled, I already know that it's throwing me off slightly. So I don't want to try to do anything extra. So just accept the fact that I only got one. And then obviously get the quick move like normal. And then the moment it started to kind of hang around 785, just take the quick profits. Try not to trade any differently. And then when it started to move quick in my favor, I just took the profits on the one contract, got a small win. Okay, so we're 20 minutes in. Let's do a little market update. What's the SPY doing? A little choppy, just hanging right at VWAP. Similar to the Qs, showing a little bit of weakness, but just hanging right at the VWAP in the 9. Tesla, obviously, sold off some. We got Facebook, had the dip. This is why I don't like to chase a bunch of red candles in a row, because even though this looked good lower, I wanted to wait for a flag pattern. Didn't happen. Got the big move up. Now it's just hanging right around VWAP in the 9. Looking at Snow. Had the push off the open, sold off. Don't see anything here. This AFRM, if anything, this was probably the setup that I missed, and I did see this out of the corner of my eye, and I just missed it because I was focused on Tesla and Facebook. You know, this shows some of the things that I was talking about in my other videos, that even though I'm watching, 4 names, 5 names, I zone in on a couple when they look like they have the possibility of setting up. I really am focused on those. So even though they're all on the same chart, it's hard to catch everything, even though I'm not watching that much. But this was a nice opening range break. So it had a little bit of a dip off the open. It was hanging right at prior day close. I'm a big fan when it can create that opening range break above it or below it. So being that it was kind of right at it, it wasn't as clean, but just knowing that this is a strong stock on the daily chart, had a handful of minutes of sideways consolidation, finally broke, strong daily chart. And then once it broke the high day, it had some really nice follow through. Unfortunately, I just missed it, and that's how it goes sometimes. And now looking at this XENE, so big move off the open, and now it's just hanging right around VWAP. So besides that Tesla short that I took that I didn't get the full fill size and the AFRM, those are about the cleanest setups that I have seen so far. I don't really see much else that I like. I'm still going to keep an eye on the market, but being that it's Friday and I already had a little bit of a mishap, I don't want to push it. All right, so 30 minutes into the day, I'm looking at the stocks, but I don't really see much that I like. I am keeping an eye on Tesla. It is trading right near prior day low. So that huge late day run that it had yesterday, it's given all of that back. So I just want to see how it reacts at that prior day low. Also watching SPY and the Qs, just want to see if they take out the lows, get weak. Maybe if this Tesla breaks prior day low and then forms a flag pattern, that could be a setup, just because anybody who chased that move yesterday is now stuck. And if they are holding for a little bit longer term, like they're holding for a few days, maybe they start to get out of their positions because they feel pain. And then just from a shorter term perspective, clearly the momentum is to the downside on Tesla. So if the market gets weak, just trying to continue to ride that momentum. So something to touch on, look at the SPY, look at this price action. This is pretty choppy. Just going sideways, no real clear direction. This is the type of stuff that's easy to get chopped up in. And it took me a while to be able to recognize what's going on in order to kind of have the attitude of, all right, this is a day where I don't need to push it. I mean, it's already a Friday, so I go into Fridays now with extra caution. But this kind of price action right here, where it sells off, has a push towards the highs, comes back to the lows, back towards the highs again. It makes me feel and gives me a little bit of a clue that maybe it could be a choppy day. And I know that in chop, I don't trade well. It's easy to just get chopped up and try to go for breakouts and try to go for breakdowns, and there's no follow through. So this is already a bit of a clue that the price action may not be A plus today. And obviously I already took one trade, did not get filled on the full three, only got the one contract, got a 50-cent move in the contracts, which is a nice move, took the profits. I'm very small green on the day. I don't like the price action that's going on in the SPY. Not a fan of the price action that's going on in the Qs. So I'm playing defense. There's no need to push it. It's all about protecting my capital, trying to manage risk, and realizing that I'm small green on the day, and small green is better than getting chopped up, continuing to try to find setups and ending red. And especially on a Friday, because I hate being red on Fridays because it's just not a good way to go into the weekend. You feel like you kind of lose momentum, and then yeah, you're back at it on Monday, but you still kind of feel that mistake or the bad trading day you had on Friday. So I don't want to push it. I am really playing aggressive defense, and unless something looks absolutely amazing, I don't feel the need to have to take another trade. All right, so what I want to do is I just want to go through the setups that I think were okay today. There wasn't many, just based on the stocks that I'm watching. Tesla, Facebook, Snow, AFRM, and XENE. I think I got a piece of what was a decent setup, which is this flag pattern. So big move lower off the open, was trading right around pre-market low, also had prior day low below. I took the flag break, kind of going for that low a day break. Only got filled on the one contract, but had a little bit of follow through. Got a nice 50-cent move. Had I got filled on the three contracts, that would have been $150. Not a huge winner, but a nice win. So that was the one setup that I think was all right. And then AFRM, which was the opening range break to the upside. So I had a handful of minutes of sideways consolidation and then eventually broke to the upside. Same direction that the daily chart is trending in. Nice strong chart above the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA on the daily. Recently broke out, so it caught momentum. And then it eventually breaks the upside and has very nice follow through. I was paying attention to Tesla and Facebook at the time, so I missed this. But out of all the stocks that I was watching today, I really do believe that those were the only two clean setups up to this point. Had I been able to take advantage of this AFRM move, my day would be done. I would have taken that quick scalp, got a very nice move. Those options would have moved nicely. Or if I took shares, would have got a couple points pretty quick. And then that would have been it for me, a nice one and done. So I'm trying to just process where I'm at right now. We're going on almost 40 minutes into the day. The nice quick move on Tesla, decent trade there. Small winner. Had I been able to take advantage of this AFRM upside move, I would not be looking for anything more because that would have been a nice winner as well. So right now, knowing that it is Friday, I don't want to mess a good thing up. I don't want to go into the weekend on a bad note. I'm just going to call it a day. So now let's go check out the P&L. Took the one trade on Tesla, didn't get the full fill, But on one contract, I got a 50-cent move, so that's decent. Up 50 bucks on the day, not a whole lot of money, but I'll take green on a Friday. That's going to be it for me. I appreciate you watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to highlight a couple really cool things that I have to offer. The first is my newsletter watch list that I'm going to be posting on my private Twitter 30 minutes before the open of each trading day. Here's an example of what that's going to look like. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the market, the SPY, the Qs, the upside levels, the downside levels, and then a sentence or two as to the overall bigger picture. Make sure to highlight any market news or events that are happening that day. And then I'm going to list the 4 to 6 stocks that I'm watching that day. If there's any company specific news, all the upside levels and the downside levels, and then do a quick bigger picture, a couple sentences as to what's going on in the daily chart. This is everything that's in my head prior to market open. This is how I prepare, and a really easy way to get access to my trading process. One page with everything I'm looking at, all the technical levels, and all the news delivered 30 minutes before market open in a really organized fashion. Also, I have a call service, so if you want something that's a little bit less of a commitment, you want to connect with me directly, talk about my trading, my journey along the way, and just connect with another trader, this is really great. And this can be a video call or a regular call, whatever you're comfortable with. It's a one-time fee, and it's going to be for 1 hour. So if you're interested in either one of these, I will put the links in the description below.